Um, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा Matre Namaha. So, the next two verses that we are going to take up today, 85 and 86, are they've been very controversial in many circles. And we will see as to why they are controversial. But the reality is that the meaning, once we understand the meaning, you will find that there is no controversy. So, let us start with the verses first, and we'll see. Verse number 85. Namo vakam brumo nayana ramaniyaya padayo. Namo vakam brumo nayana ramaniyaya padayo. Stavasmai dvandvaya sputaruchira salaktakavate. Stavasmai dvandvaya sputaruchira salaktakavate. नमो वाकं ब्रूमो नयनरमणीयाय पदयो स्तवास्मै द्वन्द्वाय रुचिरसालक्तकवते असूयत्यन्त्यन्तं यदभिहननाय स्पृहयते असूयत्यत्यन्तं यदभिहननाय स्पृहयते पशूनामीशानः प्रमद प्रमदवन कल प्रमदवन के कंकेलितरवे पशूनामीशान प्रमदवन कंकेलितरवे असूयत्यन्त्यन्तं यदभिहननाय स्पृहयते पशूनामीशान प्रमदवन कंकेलितरवे नमो वाकं ब्रूमो नयनरमणीयाय पदयो स्तवास्मै द्वन्द्वाय स्फुटरुचिरसालक्तकवते असूयत्यन्त्यत्यन्तं यदभिहननाय स्पृहयते पशूनामीशान प्रमदवनकङ्केलितरवे. So let us look at the meanings. First, let us look at the word meaning, and then we will see the actual in the esoteric meaning. Nama, Nama means to bow down, to pay obeisance. Vakam, words. Bruma, uttering, uttering. You will see the word bruvi, etc., in the Bhagavad Gita. So then, bruma means we are uttering, we are saying. Bruvi, he is saying. So, Namah Vakam Bruma, uttering words of salutation, paying obeisance. Nayana Ramaniyaya Padayoho. Nayana Ramaniyaya, that which is beautiful to the eyes. Padayoho, the feet. So the feet which are very beautiful to the eyes, I am bowing down to them. Tava, yours. Whose feet? Your feet. Asmai Dvandvaya, 2 feet. These 2 feet, this beautiful pair. Dvandvaya here means two, pair. Obviously, the reference earlier is to the feet. So Asmai Dvandvaya. Sputa Ruchira Salaktaka Vate. Sputa Ruchira means decorated. Salaktaka is the alta. Right? We have talked about the alta earlier also. There has been reference to the alta, that red color lac juice, which is used to paint the feet. So here he is referring to the beautiful coloring on the decoration of the feet with the alta. Pashunam Ishana. Now, in Shaiva Siddhanta, we are all Pashus, and we have Bandha, and there is somebody called Pashupati. He is the lord of the Pashus, and he only has the right or ability to be removing the Bandha. So Pashunam Ishanaha, lord of all the Pashu. Pashu here is Jivas, all the Jivas. So Shiva, Pashunam Ishanaha, Asuyati, Asuyati means jealous. Anasuya, you have heard the name, right? Atri Muni's wife, Anasuya. So Anasuya, she who is never jealous of anything. Similarly, here Asuyati means jealous. Atyantam, extremely jealous. Yad abhi hananaya, to strike, to kick. Sprihayate, desires. Spriha means to have strong desire. Sprihayate, desires intensely. Pramadavana, Pramadavana, wish fulfilling. Kankeli Taruve, Taru means tree. Kankeli Taruve, the Kankeli tree is the Ashoka tree. It has big red flowers. So, now what is he saying here? Literal meaning, oh mother, we offer our prayers, we offer our salutations to your pair of feet, which are so beautiful to look at, shining beautifully with bright red alta color. Such is their beauty that even Shiva, who is the Lord of all beings, he is Pashupati, Pashunam Ishanaha, he becomes jealous. He wants your feet to strike him, just exactly as the Ashoka tree, the Kankeli tree, is struck by the beautiful women. So it is believed that the Ashoka tree will not flower unless the women who are very beautiful, they go and kick it. Right? There is a beautiful reference about this in Shakuntala, in the Kavya called Shakuntala. There is a beautiful reference about this, where she goes into the forest and then she kicks the tree and so on and so forth. So all of this, here, it's a very interesting point. See, Shiva is wanting to be kicked by Devi. Ayo, how can that be? Right? How can the wife kick the husband? No, that is not the meaning. Let us look at the meaning. So, the red lack feet, they indicate red is a color of activity. Red is the color of Rajas. Right? So, Shakti's active, dynamic power is indicated with the red colored feet. So, energy, creativity, activation of the cosmic functions of Shrishti, Sthiti, Laya, all of these, they are activated through the feet of Devi. That is indicated over here. And they are the ground of all being. The feet are on the ground. They indicate that is the ground of all existence. Shiva's jealousy is not jealousy, it's poetic symbolism. Shiva without Shakti, we know, is inert. He is motionless. He is incapable of creation. So Shiva consciousness craves this union with Shakti. So even the pure consciousness, Shiva himself, he is craving the touch of Shakti, the movement that awakens life. And that union completes manifestation. So the jealousy has to be understood as symbolic. And therefore the Kankeli tree is the ecstatic Kundalini energy that we have in our body that is awakened. Right? Pramadavana is the grove of maidens. Right? The chakras that are filled with Shakti. Right? We have 6 chakras. They are like the grove, the Kundalini, the whole journey of Kundalini. It is through a grove. It is like a tree, like a forest in which there are beautiful trees. And the Kankeli tree itself, the king of, or the queen of all those, that forest, is the Kundalini as she's rising and causing the divine play. The feet, we bow down to them because that is the supreme refuge. Now, this is the esoteric or the tantric interpretation. We are learning it also from an Advaitic perspective. Shiva is pure consciousness. Now, pure consciousness for us to be able to understand consciousness, we have to be in Prakriti. Without the existence of Prakriti, Purusha cannot be understood. Now, this duality is the paradox of Advaita. See, I can understand that I am the mind only by using the mind. I can understand that I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the body. How do I understand it? I understand it, I experience it by the mind itself. Without using the mind, without using the intellect, which is why in Advaita, what do we do? Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasan. Where is all this Shravan and Manana and Nididhyasana happening? Shravan is happening in the body, Manana is happening at the intellectual level, at the emotional level, Nididhyasana is happening at the intellectual level, Vichara is happening at the intellectual level. You cannot get to consciousness without Prakriti. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to say, without the play of Maya, Maya cannot be overcome. Maya is worshipable, Mahamaya is worshipable because she alone has the power to take you to Shiva. And therefore here, he very clearly in the Advaitic existence, we say the 2 feet are Sat and Chit. And the beautiful red is the Ananda. So when we bow down to the feet, we are bowing down to Satchidananda. And jealousy is the consciousness, it realizing that it needs its own power to appear as the world. Now, if you look at Sankhya philosophy does not go to that point where Sankhya philosophy says, I am Purusha, everything else is Prakriti. Right? Now, Sita ji will also say the same thing, Priya ji will also say the same thing. If we are all saying, then how many Purushas are there? There can only be one Purusha. Right? That one Purusha itself, that which is expressing itself as Purusha and Prakriti is Parabrahman. And that is what Ramakrishna Paramahansa clearly explained and brought about. So, and it is there in the text itself here. We can see that, right? In the Advaitic text itself, we can see that consciousness, Brahman as Shiva, is Nirguna. But that Nirguna, to experience that Nirguna, we need to be through Saguna. And Goswami Tulsidas ji also says that Nirguna is very difficult to attain, but can be attained only through Saguna. And he worships Saguna in the form of Rama, or you can worship in the form of Devi. It doesn't matter what form we worship her. That will. So therefore, Shiva and Shakti are not two. They are the same Brahman in 2 modes. 2 modes. And the Kankeli tree is this universe. The world play of Leela. Right? It is. And what are the maidens doing over there in the Kankeli tree, in the Ashokavana? What are they doing? They are jumping around, they are dancing, they are singing, and they are kicking the trees. It is the play. Leela, Bala, Leela Vinodini. Right? She who plays. So that playing without any bondage. So therefore, when the world play touches and expresses the consciousness, without the world, consciousness cannot be known. And therefore, don't deny the world. Don't deny the world. Experience the world itself as the play of Brahman. Experience the world itself as the play of Brahman, and that is what this shloka is about. It is not about Shakti kicking Shiva. Right? So the next verse, actually, in this verse, we are seeing that the Shiva is desiring to be kicked. In the next verse, we will see that she actually kicks him. And pure traditionalists, they become very, very anti. They say, how can Shankaracharya write like this? See, the point is, in divine play, there are no rules. It's a very beautiful thing. I don't know if you have heard of a work called Jayadev's Gita Govinda. Jayadev's Gita Govinda, Jayadev was in Orissa. And in Gita Govinda, he was writing. And one day, he used to sit on the veranda and write. And he came to a point and he wrote that Krishna took the feet of Radha and put them on his feet. And he wrote it and then he cancelled it. How can this happen? How can I write something like this? How can Krishna, who is the supreme consciousness, put Radha's feet on his own head? So he cancelled it and he went away. He went for his bath. And again, suddenly he came back and he wrote the lines. And he went. Again, he said, okay, now I'm going back for my bath. He told his wife. Then a little while later, again he came. And his wife said, why are you coming and going, coming and going? He said, what do you mean by coming and going? I just now came back. I have not come before. So, no, you came and you sat down suddenly and you wrote something and you went away. Really? Let me see. And he realized that Krishna himself had come in the form of Jayadev and written down that Radha put the feet on Krishna's head. In divine play, there is no duality. There is no separation. Radharani is nothing but Krishna. Krishna is nothing but Radharani. Shiva is nothing but Shakti. Shakti is nothing but Shiva. They are just playing in two different modes. And this verse expresses that so very beautifully. Let us see the next verse also. Yeah, please go ahead.
Sorry, I have two questions. One, when you see Tripura Sundari sitting on her asana, always there is a Shiva under her feet. So does that what this is? It a description from this slokam? I mean, at least the literal one.
The literal meaning will be from the next shloka. We will see that.
Okay.
However, when she is sitting on her asan, she has 5 people supporting her asans.
Yeah.
Who are the 5? Who are
Shiva,
the 5?
Sadashiva and Brahma and Vishnu.
So Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Indra and Ishana. Sadashiva is the bed. She is sitting on Sadashiva. Sadashiva is the plank. The plank is supported by Ishana. So what are the 5 below? The 5 are the 5 who are doing the 5 acts. Panchakritya. The 5 krityas, which is Srishti, Sthiti, Samhara, Tirodhana and Anugraha. These 5, Panchapreta, they are even described in Lalita Sahasranama. It's a Panchapreta Samasina. She is sitting on Panchapreta. Preta means what? Ghosts. Which means what? These they are without her energy. They are ghosts. They cannot act. And she is sitting on Sadashiva. The plank, the asana on which she sits is Sadashiva. We will see that in this next shloka. What was your second question?
So just that you mentioned in this book, it's printed. It says Pishacha Bhaya Nivrti. Because it's a Panchapreta, so I think.
So I would actually say that, okay, so there is a lot of work on Soundarya Lahari, where each of the shlokas is a mantra, right? Each of the shlokas is a mantra. The mantra has a specific use in the day-to-day living. So acquisition of wealth, acquisition of spouse, removal of debt, birth of children, so on and so forth, right? Removal of disease. All of these, they are part of the Soundarya Lahari in the worldly tradition. Each of the shlokas, there is a yantra for it. The yantra, there is a prescription which says that yantra has to be drawn on a particular surface. So in some case, it will be said have to draw on silver foil. In some, it is gold foil. In some, it is drawn sand. Draw in wheat. Put wheat in a plate and draw it on the wheat, or draw it on paddy. Draw it in rice. So on and so forth. Right. After doing that, you have to do a certain number of japas of that particular shloka for attaining this siddhi, whatever that siddhi is. And there is a naivedya that has to be done over those period of time. So certain shloka will have some ghee to be offered, some will have some milk to be offered, all of that. My request, get out of it. All that we require will come from her. What we want. But we don't know what is good for us. But if we leave it to her, she will give us what is good for us, rather than giving us what we want. What we want is prayas. Abhi chahiye. Right? We are like children. Abhi chahiye. Sab kuch abhi chahiye. I want everything now. Right? You have acquired a disease that has been acquired over lifetime of eating rasgullas. And then you say, mera diabetes chala jana chahiye. Overnight. No, it won't go. You have to go to a diabetes reversal doctor. You have to go through the rigor of whatever he puts you through. You have to go through the 3 years or 6 years of sadhana that he will put you through in terms of your diet and your exercise and all that and your lifestyle, and then it will go. But no, we want prayas. Prayas means instant. Kathopanishad, the discussion between Nachiketas and Yamaraj, it has a very beautiful discussion on what is Shreyas and what is Prayas. Shreyas means that which is good for us. Prayas is that which we want. And generally, Prayas and Shreyas are not the same. So one of my office colleagues, he had a very interesting thing. We were talking about the Shreyas and Prayas in terms of food. And he said, it's very easy to understand what is Shreyas and what is Prayas as far as food is concerned. So I said, okay, so really? I don't know this. Tell me. So he said, whatever tastes bad on your tongue is Shreyas. Whatever tastes good in your tongue will be Prayas. Karela juice will be Shreyas, but nobody wants it. Ice cream is Prayas. Everybody wants it. Such a beautiful thing, isn't it? I mean, he was joking, but think about it. Do manan on this. It's so very true. We look for our comfort. We look for our pleasure. We try to avoid pain. Gurudev, as he used to say, my entire life I have spent in running after pleasure and running away from pain. But that duality of pleasure and pain, if we leave it to her and we accept whatever she gives us as Shreyas, whatever comes, whether it is a physical disease, it's a mental disease, it is suffering of the physical suffering or mental suffering of people around us, it is financial difficulty, or the reverse, sudden prosperity, you win a lottery, you land up in doing so many pilgrimages very beautifully, all of that, whatever is coming, it is prasada. And we treat it as prasada. Then life becomes easier. Right? Yeah. So let us go to the next verse. Mrisha kritva gotras khalanamata vailakshanamitam. Mrisha kritva gotras khalanamata vailakshanamitam. Lalate bhartaram charanakamale tadayati te. Lalate bhartaram charanakamale tadayati te. Mrisha kritva gotraskhalanamath vailakshanamitam. Lalate bhartaram charanakamale tadayati te. Chiradantah shalyam dahanakritam unmulitavata. Chiradantah shalyam dahanakritam unmulitavata. Tulakoti kane kilikilita mishana ripuna. Tulakoti kane kilikilitam ishana ripuna. Chiradantah shalyam dahanakritam unmulitavata. Tulakoti kane kilikilitam ishana ripuna. Mrisha kritva gotraskhalanamath vailakshanamitam. Lalate bhartaram charanakamale tadayati te. Chiradantah shalyam dahanakritam unmulitavata. Tulakoti kane kilikilitam ishana ripuna. Now let us look at the word meanings. So he says, this is the, let us look at the word meanings one by one. Mrisha kritva. Kritva, doing, right? Acting. Mrisha means to pretend, acting in pretending, making a false pretense. Gotra skhalanam. Mistake in calling out the wrong gotra. Mistake in calling out the wrong gotra. Pretending to call out the wrong gotra. Atha, then, Vailakshya namitam, appearing embarrassed. Right? Namitam, putting the head down, bowing the head in shame. Lalate, on the forehead. Bhartaram, of the husband. Obviously, here the husband is Shiva. Charana kamale, with the lotus-like feet. Tadayati, playfully kicks. Te, your. Chirat, long, for long. Antasalyam, internal thorn. Right? Salya is a thorn. internal, antashalyam, long-standing irritation. Dahana kritam, caused by fire. Which fire? Shiva's third eye. Unmulitavata, one who has removed it completely. Unmulita, from the root it has been removed. Tula koti kwanaihi, jingling of anklets. Tula koti, okay, the word koti. Now let us understand. A lot of people understand koti as 1 crore. Yes, that is one meaning. But koti also means type or comparison. Type or comparison, right? We say, Ucha koti griha mein janma liya. Ucha koti. What is Ucha koti? High crore. Can't be high crore. Ucha koti means like a high, in a high birth. Right? So, Ucha koti. So, similarly, when they say that there are 33 crores, 33 koti devata. 33 koti devata is not 33 koti, there are 33 types of devatas. 33 types of devatas. Adityas, Rudras, Marutas, etc., etc. These are 33 types of devatas. Not 33 devatas. 33 crores of devatas. That would be ridiculous. Correct? So, here he says Tula Koti. One word meaning is Tula Koti means the anklets, jingling of the anklets, Kwanehi, the sound. But Tula Koti also means the scale beam. But it refers to heavy jingling, heavy sound. Okay. Kili kili tam. Even the word itself comes very clear, isn't it? Kili kili. Chuckling sound, right? करके हंसने का, that kili sound, right? Kili tam, the chuckling sound. Kili tam. Ishana Ripuna, the enemy of Ishana's enemy. Enemy of Ishana's enemy. Now let us see the meaning, actual meaning here, the literal meaning. Devi, you once pretended to make a mistake about Shiva's Gotra. So in when in the Dharma Shastra, or even in Murugan in Kartikeya, where they do the Valli Kalyanam, Devayani Kalyanam, or Purna Kalyanam, Pushkala Kalyanam, the girl side has to declare the Gotra, the parentage of the daughter. Correct? So the parentage of the daughter, when it is being declared, so then they will declare that Devayani was the Devasena actually. The Devayani is the Tamil name. Her real name in Sanskrit is Devasena. Devasena, the daughter of Indra, who is the son of Kashyapa, who is the son of Brahma, who was born out of the navel of Vishnu. They will recite that entire lineage. Then they will recite the lineage of the sun, right? Whether it is Kartikeya or it is Dharma Shastra, who is the son of Shiva, whose father is Shiva, whose father is Shiva, whose father is Shiva. And then the girl's father will say, stop, I have understood. Right? So, because Shiva has no father, Shiva has no Gotra. But in one of the Leelas, when Shiva came to marry the Parvati, right? They were courting. Parvati has already won over Shiva. Priyaji and I have visited that place where she did her tapasya. That place is called Tapovan. And the peak in front is called Shivalinga peak. And in that place, she did her tapasya. That is the place where he came in the form of an old ascetic and tested her. And he manifested himself. She manifested herself. And they agreed, yes, in this life now, we will get married in the proper way. Which means you have to send somebody for the hand of girl's hand and so on and so forth. Now, marriage has been agreed. Now they are courting with each other. So Shiva he felt a very strong desire to go and see her. So when he felt a very strong desire to go and see her, how can he go? He is the groom. He cannot go suddenly into the bride-to-be's house. So how will he go? So he dressed up as a bangle seller. Why a bangle seller? Because a bangle seller can hold the hand, no? The bangle seller will hold the hand, he will put oil on the hand, then he will put the bangles. And he refused to put bangles on anybody excepting Parvati. So at that point of time, she then very jokingly said, this man who has come, we don't even know his Gotra. Which is true. Nobody knows Shiva's Gotra. So that joke is being referred to here. That play is being referred to here. Right? So he's saying, you pretended to make a mistake about Shiva's Gotra and then acted embarrassed and you bowed your head. You bowed your head. So what does he say here? Your Vailakshya Namitam. Then Lalate. Lalate means the forehead. Lalate. Sorry, just one second. My laptop is giving problems. Okay. Lalate on the forehead. Bhattaram, husband, Shiva. Charana Kamale, lotus-like foot. So in that playful moment, what did you do? You struck your husband Shiva on the forehead with your lotus-like foot. Now, how did she strike? Was it a hard kick? Or was it a soft kick? We don't know, right? She got angry and gave him one kick and he had to go flying all the way to Kailash. No, we don't know. No, we know. Because by using the word Charana Kamale, it is like the touch of a lotus also. It is like the touch of a lotus. So it was a gentle touch on the forehead. Now, what is there on the forehead of Shiva? The third eye. So, Shiva, here, Acharya says that Shiva destroyed Kamadev. And then later on restored Kamadev as Ananga. Right? Ananga. What does Ananga mean? He said, you will not die, but you will be without a physical body. Ananga. Now, and then you will regain your physical body later on. And if you know the Puranas, then he was reborn as Pradyumna. He was reborn as Pradyumna as Krishna's son. And he married Rati again. Now, Pradyumna, before he was born, he was Ananga. But when we do something in haste, when we do something out of anger, what do we feel? We feel very upset. We feel regret. So here, he's saying that even Shiva is feeling the regret. Shiva is feeling the regret. So he's saying that Shiva has long carried the burning pain of the thorn created by his own fiery third eye. He has now felt relieved. By what? By the touch of Devi's feet. And the touch of the feet with the jingling anklets, it made him burst into joyful laughter. It made him burst into kilikilitam. He started giggling. He started laughing. So now let us look at the tantric meanings or the esoteric meaning. The feigned or the playful error and the embarrassment of Devi, it is essentially an expression of the playful nature of Shakti. And she hides her omniscience to create the appearance of duality. See, this duality is an appearance, isn't it? There is no duality. But we get trapped in it. Why? Because she's playing. That play of hers, that is what is the significance of this particular embarrassment, the mistake. And she strikes Shiva's forehead. The third eye, the fire of destruction, which is nothing but, see, how is Kama destroyed? How was Kama destroyed? So if you go back to the movies, they will show some Kamadev standing and then some fire comes from the third eye and then Kama will start burning and all of that will happen, right? And some grotesque music will play at the back. All of that is shown. Actually, the third eye opens inward. It opens inward. And when it opens, it destroys desire. So what is the opening of the third eye called? Jnana Shakti has opened. How does Jnana Shakti open? By the touch of Devi's feet. It is the touch of Devi's feet that opens the third eye. So, and when true jnana opens, see, by physically, forcefully restraining my desires, I cannot attain asceticism. Krishna calls such people as thieves. He uses the word. He uses the word that they are thieves who forcefully try to restrain their desires. I will do upavas on Ekadashi. And the entire upavas, the whole day up to Parana. Nirjala upavas. Were you really sitting next to Krishna? Were you sitting next to Vasudeva? Were you chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva? Were you chanting Radhe Radhe? Were you chanting your mantra? No. I was chanting over there, Moong dal ka halwa, pyaj ki kachori, right? I was chanting all of that. So the forceful restraining. No, he says by giving up completely. And how does that happen? When true knowledge arises. And when does true knowledge arise? The fire of asceticism can arise only through Shiva directly in the fire, by opening his third eye. But when the third eye is opened with Jnana Shakti, then desire itself becomes completely vanquished. And when desire itself becomes completely vanquished, what happens? Spontaneously, there is joy. And therefore, you start laughing. Spontaneous joy. And you start laughing. That is what is being talked about here. So there is no kicking. So the symbolic inner thorn, the subtle trace of past actions, the regrets, the guilt, the pain of suppressing desire, the incompleteness of pure asceticism, that is removed when jnana is removed through the last vasana. That is the last vasana removed by Devi. How is it removed? By love, union, compassion. It is through harmony, not through one-sidedness. See, Shiva is very one-sided. Shiva is very one-sided. It is only when Shiva and Shakti become together that they become very one. And that is why in this particular verse, that touching of the forehead, we see that in the imagery of most of the Devi imageries. If you see Tara, she is like sitting on a shava. If you see Matangi, she is sitting on a dead body, right? And that dead body is festering. It is a festering dead body because Matangi is Uchishta. She is completely anything that is. She's overcome the duality in our mind of good and bad. So the worship of Uchishta Matangi is a very severe tapasya. You are supposed to go to the toilet, clean yourself, not wash your hands. You do it with the left hand. Then with that hand, you do the puja. And with the left hand, you offer, with that dirty hand, you offer all the to the deity and you eat that also as prasada. Now what happens? You overcome the entire physical barriers of what is good, what is bad completely. Now, but then in the Bhagavad Gita, he says in chapter 6, you have to sit in meditation in Shucho Deshe, in clean places. Yes, as long as our limitations are still there, use those limitations and make a practice. But then ultimately, we have to go beyond that. So here, when we are talking of this act that Devi is doing, it is the harmonization. Love, union, compassion, harmony created by Devi, not that one-sidedness of only Shiva. There is this story in Bengal. There is this person who was, I've forgotten, some Jagat Seth or something of that sort, some name, and who was a staunch Shiva worshipper. And Manasa, the snake goddess, was born out of Shiva's mind. That was why she's called Manasa. And she wanted status as Devi. So she prayed to her brother Ganesha, and Ganesha said, okay, if you can get worship done for you by this Shiva devotee, then and only then will the Devas accept you as a Devi. So she tries her level best in doing it. So she first goes and Sama Dama does all that. Then she starts killing his children and so on and so forth. Ultimately, some reconciliation happens and he worships her, but he worships her with the left hand. He says, with the hand that I use for worshipping Shiva, I will not worship anybody else. I will worship Manasa with my left hand. Right? Left, right, both duality. It is only when we join them together that Anjali Mudra happens. Submission of ego happens. Right? That is what is happening here. So here, and then what is that jingling sound cause? What is the meaning of the jingling sound? Nada. Creation of this entire universe. That comes from sound, isn't it? So look at the beauty of what Acharya is doing. So here, in Advaita, if you want to look at it, you say that the mistake that Devi made, who knows his Gotra and so on and so forth, that is the illusion of duality. And it is a metaphor for one becoming many out of play. Ishavasyam idagam sarvam. Ishavasya Upanishad says, first line. Therefore, there is a sarvam. The sarvam it's not there. It is there. What we have not understood is that it is also Isha. And you can only get it through Tena Taktena Bunjita, only by giving up and so on and so forth. Giving up of our Shatripus, giving up of our Vasanas. So, such a beautiful this thing. And Shiva's forehead is the unconditioned absolute, the witness aware consciousness, right? The Nirvikalpa state. And when Devi's foot touches it, it is the union of Shiva and Shakti. That is, Shiva, pure consciousness, becoming alive through his own power, which is Shakti. Duality dissolves. The thorn, the duality, is what is called superimposition, adhyasa. In Brahma Sutra, when we studied Brahma Sutra, we studied one very important text. It is called Adhyasa Bhashya. It is the preamble to Brahma Sutra written by Acharya. Adhyasa, the principle of superimposition. And he explains that in that particular Bhashya very beautifully. And the laughter comes from the joy that arises when that duality dissolves. So that is the meaning of this particular two shlokas. Should we do any questions? Otherwise, we will do make one verse of the Yoga Meenakshi. Okay. So, Yoga Meenakshi. Chatushpatra madhye sukonatrayante. Chatushpatra madhye sukonatrayante. Trimurtyadhivase trimargantarale. Trimurtyadhivase trimargantarale. Chatushpatra madhye sukonatrayante. Trimurtyardhivase trimargantarale. Sahasrara padmochitam chit prakasha pravaha pralinam. Sahasrara padmochitam chit prakasha pravaha pralinam. Bhaje pandyabalam. This has to be broken up differently. Sahasrara padmochitam chit prakasha pravaha pralinam bhaje pandyabalam. Sahasrara padmochitam chit prakasha pravaha pralinam bhaje pandyabalam. Chatushpatra madhye sukornatrayante. Trimurtyadhivase trimargantarale. Sahasrara padmochitam chit prakasha pravaha pralinam bhaje pandyabalam. Chatushpatra madhye. She who is in the middle of four leaves. Sukona trayante. Sukona means good triangle. Good triangle. In the middle of three good corners, right? Or in a good triangle. Trimurtyadhivase. She who dwells with the Trimurti. She who dwells within the Trimurti or the Trimurtis dwell within her depends on how you want to break up the samas. Ultimately, there is a union of the Trimurti and Devi in three different ways. Inside three different ways. Inside the 1,000-petal lotus, shining divinely, creating waves of brilliance. To that Pandya daughter, to that daughter of Pandya, I pray. Now, what is Chatushpatra? What are the four patras? The four patras are the four Vedas. Right? So, she who is extolled in the four Vedas, she who is prayed to in the four Vedas. So, I was listening to one gentleman called Dushyant Sridhar. And Dushyant, I think in some question answer, he was asked, saying that he was expounding on Sri Suktam or Devi Suktam, I don't remember which one. And somebody asked him, saying that the entire Vedas, there are so many references to Rudra, there are so many references to Vishnu, there are so many references to Indra, Agni, but very few references to the divine feminine. So, how can you say that she is the most powerful? So, he gave a very beautiful answer. He says, when you go to the market, what shop will be more? Hardware shop or goldsmith? So, the answer is obviously hardware shop. So, that which is valuable, there will be less only. Right? So, therefore, you will not find so many references of Devi because it is less, because she is more valuable. So, Chatushpatra Madhye, in the four Vedas, she who is extolled through the four Vedas. Sukona Trayante, in the middle of the tree, in the middle of the triangle, right? That we know. And that the final triangle that we know. In the triangle, who are there? The Trimurti. How do the Trimurti act? They act through their Shaktis. Brahma acts through Saraswati. Shiva acts through Parvati, or Durga, or Kali, or whatever you want to call her. And Vishnu acts through Lakshmi. Right? Trimurti Adivase. Trimargantarale. What are Trimarga? She can be attained in three ways. All three ways lead to her. What are the three ways? The three ways. Bhakti, Jnana, Karma. All three ways will lead to her only. Trimargantarale. She is the essence of all the three ways. And where does she reside? Sahasrapadmochittam. Sahasrapadmochitam means in the 1,000-petal lotus. When she arises in the 1,000-petal lotus, she glows and creates these waves of brilliance. This is a description that has come in the Soundarya Lahari also. When she is there and then she flows down, we see that entire body itself glowing with that beauty. That is the meaning of this particular shloka.
So,
let us end.
Pravaha
Yes.
means waves, correct?
Waves,
Pravaha
waves,
means
waves.
waves.
Yes.
Pralinam?
Pralinam. Engrossed in, within that. Pralinam. Absorbed. Sunk in those waves. Immersed in those waves. Pralina. Pravaha Pralina. Immersed completely in those waves. Right. Let us end for now. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.